आप बिजी भी बहुत हैं, आज आपके वहाँ प्रोग्राम भी है, तो आप चाहें तो मंगलाचरण करने के बाद आप प्रस्थान कर सकती हैं,
जी जी
निकल
धन्यवाद।
एग्जिट कर।
So
जी
Alkazi is requested to do Mangalacharan before she can introduce herself, so that every
ओके।
participants could come to know that who is she and what is her background.
हम्म।
यस
अ, मैं ब्रह्मचारिणी अलका दीदी, अ, जन्मभूमि राजस्थान में डूंगरपुर डिस्ट्रिक्ट चित्री गांव की रहने वाली हूँ। बाल्यकाल से 18 वर्ष की उम्र से मुझे आचार्य गुप्तीनंदी गुरुदेव राजश्री माता जी, क्षमाश्री माता जी का सानिध्य मिला। तभी से ही जब मैं 18 इयर्स की थी तभी से ही मुझे मोक्ष मार्ग में आगे बढ़ने की भावना हुई और उनकी प्रेरणा से और कनक नंदी गुरुदेव के शास्त्रों का परिचय विशेष होने से मुझे विशेष आध्यात्मिक जीवन में अधिक रुचि हुई और इस प्रकार जीवन यात्रा चलती रही। और अभी वर्तमान में मैं गुजरात में गांधीनगर में हमारा सेंटर है कोबा, श्रीमद राजचंद्र आध्यात्मिक साधना केंद्र के नाम से। तो मैं यहाँ पर लगभग 12 वर्ष से यहीं पर साधनारत हूँ। तो मुख्य हमारा जो लक्ष्य है वो अपना स्पिरिचुअल डेवलपमेंट है, आध्यात्मिक विकास, और उसके साथ साथ समाज के लिए भी हम अपना जीवन कैसे उपकारी बने। तो हम बहुत सारे ऐसे सोशल वर्क भी थोड़े बहुत करते हैं और सत्संग के लिए बाहर गांवों में भी जाते हैं, नगरों और शहरों में भी जाना होता है। तो हमारा जो यह सेंटर है वो इंटरनेशनल सेंटर है। हमारे जो गुरु जी थे आत्मानंद जी, उन्होंने बहुत सब जगह धर्म यात्रा के लिए देश और विदेश में बहुत प्रवास किए हैं। तो इस प्रकार एक छोटा सा सादा सिंपल हमारा जीवन है और भगवान महावीर के अपन सच्चे अनुयायी बने और विशेषकर वैज्ञानिक धर्माचार्य श्री कनक नंदी गुरुदेव की प्रेरणा से हम अपने जीवन में उनका मार्गदर्शन मिलता रहता है और उस माध्यम से हम साधना में आगे बढ़ते हैं। गुरुओं के पास भी आना जाना रहता है और केंद्र हमारा यहाँ गांधीनगर है। तो
बहुत अच्छा, बहुत
धन्यवाद।
अच्छा।
अब हम अपना लेक्चर शुरू करते हैं। So
जी
you are kindly requested to do Mangalacharan for the lecture series.
जी। आदरणीय श्री भाई साहब राजमल जी सर से हमारी बात हुई, उस प्रकार उन्होंने जो थीम बताई कि थोड़ा प्रकृति का जो उपकार है मानव जीवन पर, तो उस थीम पर मैं अपना मंगलाचरण करूंगी। और आपने मुझे इसके लिए इसमें सहभागी किया, तो बाद में शायद टाइम नहीं रहे, तो मैं अभी से ही आप सबको थैंक यू कहती हूँ। जय जिनेन्द्र, धन्यवाद बहुत बहुत। और अब भविष्य में भी, फ्यूचर में भी मैं इसी प्रकार आप लोगों से जुड़ी रहने के अवश्य प्रयत्न करूंगी। तो
मैं अलका जी जरा सा आपको परिचय दे दूं। ये जो वेबिनार होते हैं, लेक्चर सीरीज जो हो रही है,
जी जी
ये फ्लोरिडा इंटरनेशनल यूनिवर्सिटी के तत्वाधान में हो रही है, उसके मार्गदर्शन में हो रही है। और ये जो सारा कुछ उपक्रम जो किया है, वो अभी आपको जो दिखाई दे रही है, अपन जिनको माता जी बोलते हैं, बड़े आचार्य लेवल के, यहाँ महाराज साहब जो हैं, समणी चैतन्य प्रज्ञा जी, उनके माध्यम से सब कुछ हो रहा है। तो मैं
जी
आपका जो आभार प्रदर्शित किया, तो फ्लोरिडा
जी
इंटरनेशनल यूनिवर्सिटी, वहाँ डिपार्टमेंट है शायद पूरा जैनिज्म का, और जो महाराज साहब हैं समणी जी, वो वहाँ विजिटिंग प्रोफेसर हैं इस वक्त, तो उनके माध्यम से ही ये सब कुछ चल रहा है। तो let us give sincere thanks to her. मैं तो केवल एक निमित्त मात्र हूँ, मेरा तो कोई बड़ा नहीं है। सब कुछ माता जी का ही है।
थैंक यू माता जी, धन्यवाद। आपको प्रणाम करते हैं, वंदन करते हैं।
Thank you very much. Okay, so now please start
जी
Mangalacharan.
ओके ओके। बोलिए महावीर स्वामी भगवान की जय। श्री वीतरागाय नमः, श्री कनक नंदी गुरुदेव नमो नमः। नदियन पिए कभी अपना जल, वृक्षन खाए कभी अपने फल। नदियन पिए कभी अपना जल, वृक्षन खाए कभी अपने फल। अपने तन का मन का धन का, अपने तन का मन का धन का दूजों को दे जो दान है, दूजे को दे जो दान है, वो सच्चा इंसान है, इस धरती का भगवान है। वो सच्चा इंसान है, इस धरती का भगवान है। नदियां न पिए कभी अपना जल, वृक्ष न खाए कभी अपने फल। अगर जिसका अंग जले और दुनिया को मीठी सुवास दे, दुनिया को मीठी सुवास दे, दीपक सा उसका जीवन है जो दूजों को अपना प्रकाश दे, दूजों को अपना प्रकाश दे। धर्म है जिसका महावीर वाणी, धर्म है जिसका महावीर वाणी, सेवा है आगम ज्ञान है, वो सच्चा इंसान है, इस धरती का भगवान है। वो सच्चा इंसान है, इस धरती का भगवान है। चाहे कोई गुणगान करे या चाहे करे निंदा कोई, चाहे करे निंदा कोई, फूलों से कोई सत्कार करे या कांटे चुभ जाए कोई, कांटे चुभ जाए कोई। मान और अपमान ही दोनों जिसके लिए समान है, वो सच्चा इंसान है, इस धरती का भगवान है। सॉरी। वो सच्चा इंसान है, इस धरती का भगवान है। नदियां न पिए कभी अपना जल, वृक्ष न खाए कभी अपने फल, अपने तन का मन का धन का दूजों को दे जो दान रे, वो सच्चा इंसान है, इस धरती का भगवान।
ठीक।
बहुत अच्छा, बहुत अच्छा।
Okay, so thank you very much for this sweet song and also very inspiring song. So now I would request Professor Rajmal Jain for the talk of today. The topic of today is hazards over the hydrosphere. So today we will learn what kind of pollutions and violences we are creating to water element. Okay.
बोले महावीर भगवान की जय, आदिनाथ दादा की जय। रमणी जी, आपके चरणों में वंदन और सभी का स्वागत और अभिनंदन। मैं सर्वप्रथम जो है, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई वुड लाइक टू गिव बेस्ट विशेस of the colorful festival of Holi. So I want to give best wishes in terms of real color presentation of this Holi.
Yes.
So this in some kind of a my Mangla Charan in terms of you can say, just please give me 1 minute because my laptop is expiring the power.
Okay.
Okay, so now This is actually Mangalacharan in terms of musical tune. Please enjoy this, my gift to all of you. Before I start my talk, I thought I should give the real beauty of our nature. And so please see this in the form of our.
No music.
Sir, volume is not coming.
No voice.
Are you able to listen the voice?
No,
No, sir.
there is no voice.
Hello.
Not
There is no
audible.
voice, no voice. There is no sound.
हमको तो आता है.
Hello. Are you able to hear me or
I
not?
can see, I can listen.
Okay. No, my sound is clear. I'm able to audible.
Your sound is clear, but the presentation which you are giving, there is no sound to most of the participants.
No, that is because they have put on the low of their ear side.
No, sir. Actually, in the Zoom, there is an option to share sound, share system sound. When we share the system sound from the Zoom control, then only other participant can easily hear the voice.
But some participants, they say that they are able to hear. It is from
Actually,
problem from my side.
Ignore those participants.
They are
No,
listening
no,
to
we
your
cannot.
voice. They are listening to your voice actually. They are not listening to this video.
Oh, I see. So, but it is a beautiful. I thought, okay, but now I cannot spend too much time on this.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so
You did not share.
they can watch at least.
Yeah, you did not share the sound actually.
Okay. Thank you very much for your kind attention. I am sorry that many of you could not listen the its voice, but some of you could listen, and I hope. But you all might have enjoyed. Basically, it is the music behind this. The tune only was पंख होती तो उड़ के आती रे. So
Okay, so it was nice and very attractive presentation, but we couldn't listen to the voice or sound, so don't worry about it. Now I request to start the
Yeah.
lecture.
yeah, my topic. So I will start today on this Jalkai Jeev, but basically Jalkai here means hydrosphere. So first, it is I should define what do we mean by hydrosphere. Many of you just people understand oceans or rivers or reservoirs. That is the whole thing on the earth. It is not like that. The hydrosphere. I'm audible. Is it? I'm audible.
Yes, sir, audible.
Yes, audible, audible.
So hydrosphere basically contains the all kind of water just at the surface of the earth, under the surface of the earth, and above the surface of the earth. Means it covers the terrestrial water that is on the surface, underground water, and underground water in various forms, and the atmospheric water. Now, this thing is a very, very large, it means amount of water is there. And if you calculate,
Please unmute yourself and start your talk from the starting. Hello? Professor Rajmal Jain, you are muted. Okay. Please start your talk from the starting.
okay. Okay. The first thing which I am going to talk today is about our Jalkai or Jal Mandal, but that is the hydrosphere. So first, I would like to define what do we mean by hydrosphere. Generally, our impression about the hydrosphere is very, I mean, in some kind of a misconception. We think that whatever the water we see on the terrestrial surface, that is oceans or rivers or wells and lakes, etc., that is the only our hydrosphere. It is not like that. Actually, the hydrosphere is comprised of the water in any form on the terrestrial surface, that is on the ground, then under the ground, that is in the underground water, and above the ground, that is in the atmosphere. So total in the atmosphere, on the surface and under the surface, the total is actually known as hydrosphere. Now, if you ask that how much it is there, then I would like to say the total water on this surface in the whole hydrosphere is 1.386 billion cubic kilometer. And when I say cubic kilometer, means it is a volume. So right from the 2 to 3 kilometers below the surface to the atmosphere, almost 10 to 12 kilometers. So take the whole column and then surface area multiply by that column. That is the total volume, and the whole is known as hydrosphere. Now in this, if we consider, then the water we will find in various forms, because this includes in the gaseous form. Am I right? That is water vapor, which we talked. So that is in the atmosphere. Even the liquid droplets, the rain water droplets are also there. That is also part of that. And even the moisture which is inside there, that is also the part of that only. Water in the top surfaces. Then on the groundwater, actually it is lots of things: soil moisture and the permafrost, that is permanent frost in terms of the, you can say that glaciers, snow, icy rocks, etc., the lakes, seas, all that is what we see is on the ground, that is our terrestrial surface. But below the terrestrial surface, already the scientists have already discovered up to 2-3 kilometers. But I still believe that it may be even up to 10 kilometer or even more than that. And that is underground water, what we call. And this underground water is in also various forms. So there are various kinds of forms of water, and that is what we are going to discuss today. Now, what I want to say out of this thing is a little bit slightly different, that whatever we see, we have enjoyed just now colors of the gardens, flowers, different kinds of birds, etc. Similarly, if you see the water also, then you will really enjoy about that, and you will see even from the crest inside almost 2 to 3 kilometers below to the almost to the atmospheric height, the various natures of the waterfall. And this is what the our Lord Mahavir, Bhagwan Mahavir, he told. I don't know how he in just during this Keval Gyan period, he saw the all sorts and all kinds of knowledge, everything he visited just in, his time period, that these kind of processes are taking place. And that is what he told, that the nature actually is some kind of a, all the processes are interdependent to each other. That is very important, number one. The second, nothing is possible to be created, nothing is possible to be destroyed. And that is what happens. And I would like to tell you today about this thing. The next, another thing, let us see little bit the water statistics. Just a minute. If you see that most of the total water, let us say 100%. Out of that 100% water, actually almost more than 97.5%. Can you believe? 97.5% water is only in the saline water, or in the, by the way, let us say ocean or sea, whatever. So fresh water is left only 2.5%. Please remember, you see, we have lot of pride, lot of anger, lot of our greed, etc. But on what? We, only 2.5% water is the fresh water. That is what is available. And even out of that 2.5%, the almost 69% approximately is only in the form of the ice and permanent snow that is in the glaciers, etc. So how much water really available in the lakes and in the rivers which is flowing? It's only out of that. So really it is only 0.3% of the total water is left over. And on that 0.3% water, we are enjoying all these kinds of things, which is actually, and doing many kind of the human activities which are not positive for the nature. I would like to give also a little bit more statistics about this our, just a minute, that in our whole hydrosphere, which is about one total, mass of the whole water is 1.4 into 10 to the power 18 tons. See, it is looks 10 to the power 18 tons, but it is not very significant when you compare with the mass of the whole earth. It's hardly 0.023% of the earth's mass. So it is insignificant relative to the earth's mass. And mostly out of that, even 2 into 10 to the power 13 tons of this whole is in the form of the water vapor. So now, see what I wanted to tell you in the beginning, that we consider the whole our hydrosphere just on the terrestrial surface, but most of the water, almost 10 to the power 18 tons water is in the water vapor in the by and large in the atmosphere. That's why water, atmospheric water is a part of hydrosphere. That is what has been now claimed. And this is not, scientists are claiming. This has been claimed in our Jain canonical texts also. When we say the Vayu Kaya Jeev or the Vayu Jal Kaya, Jal Kaya Jeev or the four Jal Mandal, that is hydrosphere, then we also consider even the creatures or life within the water vapor above and inside the oceans also. So everywhere we are considering. So this whole basically the small statistics I have wanted to give you, and approximately 71% of Earth's surface. So 71% of the Earth's surface means by and large you can say that is 3/4 of the whole Earth's surface is covered by the oceans only. So only we are left with the 361 million square kilometer is only covered by the ocean, and the rest is by this our for our purpose only. Now, what I want to say that when we are left only with the 25% of the land which is can be used, and out of that 25%, most of the land is not cannot be used because either it is on the Arctic side or Antarctic side or in the such kind of a regions, tropics, which we cannot use. So actual usable land is less than even the 15%. Now, for what and why we are doing so much, I mean, pride and so much harmful activities, although we know that our own life is very limited and we cannot do anything much to the water or the nature. But in spite of that, we have a lot of passion and greed. And in such a short span of life, we want to do so many good and bad things. And those bad things actually are doing, or I should say, the pollution activities which are harmful to the nature. So let me go to the next slide. What is basically original history of water? From where the water came? This is a very surprising and very important question. That from where the water came on this earth. Earth is almost 4 to 4.5 billion years old. That is as per the science. Now, out of this 4.5 billion years, it is told that the water actually appeared on the earth around the 4 billion years. If it is so, then there is a two schools of thoughts are there. There are two principles. Basically, there are many principles, but basically always the tug of war between the two principles. One school of thought says that the water was already on the earth, and it was basically in the terms of hydrogen, which was basically the main gas on this earth. The other principle says that no, the water came from the outer space, that is from the sum of the bodies like asteroids or comets. They had similar kind of a structure, that is the structure of water, that is water molecule, or I should say H2O molecule. Okay, and that was brought from the impact of the asteroid, or might be impact of the comet on the earth. And when this impact took place, at that time the water spread over there. Whatever, suppose the water has come all the way, then there should be some cycle. And how this water cycle actually works? What is the source of energy? This is the major question. And as I told that the major questions, the two sources, Akash Tattva, cosmos, and Agni Tattva, the Helios, the sun, they are the major source of energy for driving the life on the earth. Now the rays which come, the light which comes in the various form on the electromagnetic spectrum, that is the source of energy from the sun, and that comes as a heat as well as the light. So this heat and light gives the some kind of a cycle on the earth. And this basically what happens, that the light comes from the sun, it basically produces so much energy, heat, temperature, the water evaporates either from the oceans, rivers, reservoirs, all on the terrestrial surface, but not in the underground water. Now the water which is large, so evaporation will also be larger from there. That is from the ocean. So oceans, the evaporation takes place and it goes above in the atmosphere in the form of water vapor. Why it should go? Because the temperature as we go above and above, the temperature goes down. Temperature is reduced. Highest temperature is on the surface of the earth. So it gets evaporated, but evaporated gas always moves toward the lower side. So it moves in the atmosphere. Once it goes over there, then it faces further lower temperature, and so it actually condensed over there. So water, which vapor was in the form of vapor, it gets condensed and the precipitated over there, and finally again returns back through the gravitational pressure back to the Earth's surface in the terms of, or in the form of the rainwater. And on the other hand, the heat which is produced by the sun, that also melts glaciers, snow, icy rocks, etc. And that water flows down finally through the rivers or the reservoirs, but finally into the ocean. So the water comes over back over there, and then again that is evaporated and finally forms again the rainwater, and then as a consequence of the temperature variation, the last time I discussed about that, and due to temperature difference, thermal gradients which are formed. So wherever it is low, the ice or the glaciers are formed again back, and most of the water during this rains, it goes underground. And that underground water, again also what happens through the channels inside itself, goes to the reservoir, wells, and in the river. And again, then it is evaporated and comes finally back to the on the surface of the earth. So what I want to say, that this whole system, if you see this water cycle, it is a self-regulated system. Nobody is there. There is no God. There is no Almighty. There is no Mahavir over there to run this system. Okay. This is a self-regulated system, and that is what told in our Jain canonical text, that the whole nature or the subsystems, everything works as a self-regulated system. Further, I would also like to say that this system of the water cycle is not only a self-regulated system, but it is a self-organized. It follows the principle of self-organized criticality, that is aparigrah. So it does not keep even a single drop of water anywhere saved. The same water which goes up, it will come down also. And system is a self-regulated, does not, behave erratic or irregularly. So what is the best example? So if you ask me the beauty of water, I would like to have all my participants' kind attention and learn from this one single slide which I am showing over here, that this is the only water on the earth. You see, it is also energy. It is also momentum, and momentum, mass, and energy are always conserved. They are never getting destroyed. And the water cycle actually follows the principle, tenets of the Jainism. There were two scientists, Mark actually, who was scientist, but he was a bit philosopher also, and he described in a very nice way the whole hydrosphere. He told the hydrosphere is a closed system in which water completely exists all the time. Now, hydrosphere definition I have given you means some part of the water is in the form of the vapor, that is in the atmosphere above the surface. Some water is in the soil moisture under the ground. then some water or the most of the water is on the terrestrial surface. But it is a total closed system and it is a given quantity Q and it always remains Q. Only so it means what happens? The form changes. So another scientist, he told that this whole, our Earth, the total amount of water has almost certainly the not changed since the geological times, that is almost 4 billions of years. So what he says, whatever we had then, the same still remains the same quantity. It means in this 4 billions of years or the geological time, the water has not changed. Now you can ask me a question. You can ask me a question that, oh, there are many times lots of floods are there and there are many places droughts are there. There is no water. Yes, the water actually, it means the changes, not only its form, but its a state. So what we can say, what I can say that the water basically follows the tenet of Chinese as a, for example, it's a mass, dravya. Yes, it changes from one location to another location and its form changes. Another from one location means from one region, okay, the kshetra, it changes. As a function of time, kal, it changes, and spirituality means bhav, means what the people or the whole nature feels, where the most good work is going on, accordingly it takes place. There are many examples where the people do lot of killing, lot of violence. The most of time you might have heard after few years or so, there are droughts, there are no water. So now water I told in various forms, right from vapor, glaciers, ice, snows, deep water, ocean water that is with salinity, then rivers, wells, reservoirs, then underground water, etc. So what I should say, these are the different forms of water which are keep on changing as a function of time, that is as a function of continent, region wise, and there another factor which is changing, that is the sea, that is area, that is sea surface area, whatever we call that, as well as the thickness, wall thickness, that also changes. So what we should can say that if it is changing volume on one side, then other side it will compress. So totality, it will remain same and same. And the total amount of water, maybe in one or other form, but total water will also remain same and same. So these are some kinds of real principles of the basically the water follows on our Jain tenets, Jain principles, that the paryay is keep on changing, but the total remains the same and same. The same law applies for the universe also, the other matter and other conservation of energies, etc. This is very important that water is a demonstrative representative of the Jain tenets. So basically what happened at the 4 billions of years, that when that is what the geological time I'm talking, the lot of hydrogen and helium actually at that time they were there. There was no oxygen basically. All friends, you may notice that there was no oxygen at that time, there was no nitrogen at that time. But slowly what happened, that there was some kind of a expelling from the gravitational forces of this little bit hydrogen and helium. And at that time, as soon as it happened, then the slightly cooling started, say around 3 billion years. And this period, 3 billion years before present, was a very important time. At that time, what happened, because of this cooling, the volcano eruption took place. And why volcano eruption took place? Because the inside that our earth, lot of heat was there, and outside there was a cooling start. So because of the temperature difference, that is what I call as a thermal gradients, this explosion came from the inside and from inside this, with volcano eruption, carbon dioxide came outside. And this was a boon. This was a boon for the organism or for the life formation. So as soon as the carbon dioxide came, it started to react with the hydrogen and other gases, and then further cooling started. So as soon as the cooling started, whatever the water in the form vapor, it started. So first rainfall according to the science, that started something like 3 billions of years before present time. And there were life started. So whenever this rainwater came, then it deposited the rainwater into the depressed area. I told you depressions and mountains. So mountains, let us say the highest which I told, Mount Everest, is about the 8 kilometer. So the deepest on the earth was also the ocean, maybe 7 to 8 kilometers. So wherever the depressions in the lands were there, they were covered by this rains. Large amount of water came into this, and they became the oceans. And some of the channels, they came down from the mountains as a rivers and reservoirs later on formed, etc. The life actually really started. The very small microorganism, I should say, or maybe even a nano-organism, scientists have not still firmly told, but the real life started in the oceans only. And as soon as this life was some kind of a developing life, but without oxygen, this is very important. At that time, there was no oxygen near the oceans, in the atmosphere, nowhere. And this organisms, when it developed, then it by automatically the self-regulated system, these microbes, these organisms did not actually take the or breathing the oxygen, but later they converted themselves into a cyano. Please remember this name. This may be important for your quiz also. Cyanobacteria. So we are actually the grandchildren. We are grandchildren of this cyanobacteria. This is the organism which got the reaction from the carbon dioxide and started to make the food out of that and split up this carbon dioxide. So from carbon, they started to make the food. Oxygen was there, and oxygen started for breathing. And this was the very kind of a boon. The life really slowly started to develop. And finally, you can see that almost from a few millions of years back, the human being started from that organisms. So let me tell now, because the ocean was some kind of a yoni, mother of our the organisms generation. So this little bit, let me tell, almost 71%, as I told earlier also, is the oceans. They are covering the whole waterland, and hardly of that 97%, you can say. So real ocean water is 71%. So we are left only with the 29%. And 97% of the Earth's water is basically, by this whole thing, is ocean water. So how much left is 3%, but out of 3%, only 0.3% is only for the our accessible for the drinking, etc. The large amount of this oceans are there. So in order to identify and for scientific purposes, because they are related with our atmosphere, they are related with the climate, they are related, oceans are with our biodiversity, they are related with the human development, other our the whole cultures, etc. So the scientists have actually designated the name by this. And Pacific Ocean, which is on the west side, and that is the largest ocean among all the 5 oceans. Then Atlantic Ocean, Indian Ocean, Antarctica, that is in southern, and Arctic, that is in the northern side, but that is the smallest ocean on our earth. So these 5 oceans are there, and out of that, if you ask that how much actually square kilometer area has been covered by this water, that it is 3.61 into 10 to the power 8 square kilometer has been covered by this water. I hope many of you might be aware what is the diameter of the earth. It is 12,760 kilometers. That is diameter of the earth. The diameter of the earth which recently by even the satellites and by many other techniques derived, and it was almost same which the Bhadrabahu Swami and Aryabhatta and all those people told that this is the approximate diameter of the Earth. So by and large, the values are same and same, hardly maybe 0.01%. There may be some changes, etc. Now these uh, oceans are located at a different regions on the Earth, and at different regions, different climatic conditions are there. This is all we are aware. You are in Florida or maybe in other parts of USA, you may be having one kind of an ocean. But as a function of the temperature, pressure, and density conditions of your climate, you may be having different kind of use of ocean. In India, people are using according to their suitability of the climatic conditions. So we have been using the oceans in various kinds of forms. Now, if it is so, then the people asked what kind of life, which I told that all organisms which are actually began, the evolution began in the ocean. Now, only what we know on the earth at the moment, or many of you are aware, is about the, you can, if I ask you, what are the kinds of the creatures or life exists inside the earth, you will say fish and various kinds of fish. You will say crocodiles, okay? You can say big fishes are there, etc. But no, there are many kinds of animals and creatures from one sense to all the way 5 cents are also there inside that. So I would like to show you a small video, and please note that this video was a big discovery of microbes. Microbes, a single sense life, and with a knowledge to make, I mean, the colonies, houses, some kind of a inside the oceans, as well as they also participate in the photosynthesis process. This is microbes. Microbes play the key role in producing or in process of photosynthesis for the life of others, which for those lives which always remain inside the ocean. For them also, how to take the oxygen and how to take the light over there. So let me play this video. I don't know whether you are able to see this video or not. And are you able to listen this voice?
Light of the rainforest.
You have to raise the voice. You have to raise the voice volume.
And of course, this is where humans spend most of their time.
Just a minute. I don't know how to do that, but let me try.
Okay, let it be so.
No, let me try my best, whatever I can do.
If you ask most people, they will talk about photosynthesis in light of the rainforest, in terms of grasslands, thinking only terrestrial. And of course, this is where humans spend most of their time. The most important marine organism that people don't know about are the marine cyanobacteria of the genus Prochlorococcus. You cannot see them with the naked eye. Only with a fluorescent microscope, they are responsible for over 50% of photosynthesis in the ocean. You can't see microorganisms, so they're typically ignored.
Microbes are arguably the most important form of life on our planet. They run the whole planet. They make it habitable. Half the oxygen that you breathe comes from microbes that live in the ocean. And those that live in the deep sea play an equally important role by providing nutrients to the microbes that live in the shallow water.
And this experiment was conducted by launching the big microscopes, telescopes
My
inside the
research lab and I are
ocean.
really interested in understanding how animals and microbes live in the deep sea. It's an environment that's very different from our own. We want to understand how organisms make a living in those environments and how they've adapted to life in this cold, dark world that's very foreign to us. Microbial mats look like biological carpets.
This is kind of colonies which they make.
Like these fuzzy orange and white expanses. Back in organisms, a bunch of microbes that grow as colonies, layered one upon another to make these little villages of microbes. And they tell us something about what's going on in the seafloor beneath them. Some of those microbes tell us that there's methane and sulfide coming up from the seafloor. Those gases are produced by other microbes that are feeding on dead organic matter. So the microbes are kind of like the canaries of the deep sea.
These are the colonies.
What's going on? They also tell you about the health of the ocean. Methane are really an important part of the system. A lot of fish, including commercially relevant fish, seem to be relying on those seeds for something that we don't yet understand. Our studies of these deep sea microbes, in particular the rate measurements, that is looking at how fast they consume their foodstuffs.
Now he is talking very important thing that they are trying to, measure the weight of the microbes. That is the biomass. Please remember my word, biomass. So how much biomass is there and relative to the other biomass, that is fish, etc.
Microbes living in sediments can eat methane 10,000 to 1,000,000 times faster than we had thought.
And he says that these microbes are very dynamic than other organisms, other creatures, and they are trying to help other organisms or the big organisms, fishes, etc., by providing oxygen, etc. And so in this picture, actually, I am trying to show the various kinds of the lives which are existing as a function of the depth in the ocean. You can see that generally what we have seen, the starfish or the jellyfish and the general big whale fish, etc. But as you go down and down inside the ocean, the larger, the big size, the animals kind of lives are available and can be seen over there. Then the small actually fishes of the various with various structures, and in addition to that, at every height, that is at every depth, I can say inside the ocean, the plants are there of the different structure and different size. They have the biological names also, and they take from where they take oxygen. This is an important question. So they take oxygen, all these animals or the creatures, that is provided by the photosynthesis and the light and the energy and the oxygen by these microbes. So microbes play a very important role. The microbes, I told you, they play very important role in the atmosphere also. So whether we talk Vayumandal or Vayukayaji or the Jalkayaji, these microbes, Sukshmajiv, always play very important role. Even this, you know that the corals, sometimes they play this munga, the yoni, the role of yoni, and at the reef, that is at the top of that, they actually provide the lots of the house or for the evolution of the various organisms and the very colorful things. And then they deposit their energy to this corals, and we call them as a gemstones or the various kinds of rubies and all that they form inside. And when this dried, and then it goes to the inside the land, and somewhere else with the explosion of the volcano, all these things come out. So basically carbon dioxide place which is taken by these big fishes, plays very important role to provide the various kinds of source of energies, as well as the materials like petrol, diesel, gases, etc., through the carbon dioxide thing. But how it is done, the basic process is through these organisms and the animals and the creatures inside the oceans. So what I wish to say that this basically human use of the oceans is a very some kind of a very good also, but it is what we have found is selfish. I mean, just enjoyment or for the greed. That is the kind of things we are doing. So what kind of uses we are doing? The whole of the I mean oceans, our activities basically have wide variety of this, and including the navigation, okay, important, even the irrigation, okay, important, but both basically exploration, then the naval warfares, travel, shipping, trade, food products, just like a fishing, it is some kind of food for the most of the people, and the whaling, seaweed, farming, aquaculture, even the leisure, that is the some kind of a cruising, sailing, recreational boat fishing, scuba diving, etc. All the we are doing power generation, I should say, using that hydroelectric power. Then the extensive industrial use water is used for that, fresh water production, etc. Many things. Out of that, if you ask me, or you yourself can assess that how much applications are truly necessary for the survival of a human being, and out of that what are the real activities which are really not useful, and they are doing lots of pollution for our this hydrosphere. So basically, I will say this kind of activities which are not of use and we should not do. And but we are doing and creating the marine pollution. So marine pollution is basically of many kinds of activities which are not desired, but we are doing, such as industrial thing near the oceans. Okay, we are doing this agriculture and residential waste we are throwing inside agriculture waste, we are always throwing in the water. This is a major problem. Then the runoff from the agriculture as well as the forest fires, etc., that runoff also goes into the waters in terms of small particles. Then our nose waste, excess carbon dioxide of or the invasive organisms enter the ocean, and they cause the harmful effects over there, that is to the ocean. How it will be done, that is the question, and it is matter of the concern. So most of the 80% comes from the land-based activity. See, it is not from that, but land-based activities which we are doing, and then we are throwing our inside the ocean, that is industrial or other agriculture, whether through the transportation or the many other kinds of activities. You know that. Then what we are doing, the other important part, and it is really matter of concern for all of us, that we are using some kind of a extra pollution to the rivers. And the rivers, you know that they also finally end up or merge into the oceans. So whatever the waste which has been thrown in the rivers, that also goes to the ocean only. And oceans are polluted by that. Now the oceans are polluted. You will ask, kya ho jayega? What will happen to that? No. Pollution, marine pollution is really a great concern to the United Nations also, and it should be of great concern to everybody, because it kills microbes to even the larger sense creatures inside the ocean as well as in the rivers. In various kinds of ways, they are killing. I will going to explain that how they will do that kind of a thing. See, the plastic is one, and I think last time somebody asked me question, but that was the not right time. I told that I will take in the next lectures, and even it will come again in the another my next lecture also. So marine plastic pollution is in various forms. This is the larger, all bags are also there. We throw bottles also we throw over there. whether we go inside the boat or we are at the shore of the ocean, we are living over there only, and we do not bring it back and dispose it at the proper way. So most of the actually human are doing the rubbish things, and they just throw away without thinking that what is the effect will be there. Now the plastic is such thing that you see that the big plastic for bottles or the plastic sheets and the bags, etc., from macro size to micro size. Now if the micro, that is even the in between smaller size plastic which has been thrown or at the shore of that, then the two processes will start. One, the light from the sun, that is heat and the light, it will try to dispose it into small fragments. That is what we call as a microplastic fragments. They will fly then with the air and they will pollute the marines, that is the ocean's water. And those small particles, the fish do not understand, microbes do not understand, and they try to think that it is a food material and they eat and then they die, because the plastic life is very long. So this similar, the solid plastic, just like bottles or the caps of that hits to the mouth of the fishes. That is what I should say, or the cigarette, the butts are there, what I, the proper word, but solid material, that also kills the large number of the organisms in that. And who has killed them? We are killing, direct killing over there. So this is the what kind of a thing, various kinds of plastic. You can see here that there are many campaigns are being conducted, but no success. I should say it is hardly 0.01% effort in cleaning this plastic around the shores or in the oceans. So basically, it is direct killing by us of the any aquatic animals, fishes, right from microbes to the macro animals. And you can believe that large number of, this fishes and the animals which have been killed. There is a United Nations says that there is a stock of last few years or tens of years of more than 90 million tons. And from where it came, it means there was no process was started by United Nations or by another social organizations to clean up our oceans. And now that 1.4% of the global plastic is produced from 1950 to 2030. Basically, the industrial era started only from 1850, let us say, or 1715. But the lot of this consideration, what the scientists have done is based on that 1.4% of estimation, and for 19 to 23 millions of tons of plastic leaks is taking place. So what United Nations says that by 2017 in that conference, that by 2050, the time is not very far, 2050, the so much plastic will be there that of the almost size of the Switzerland. Okay, and that will be the big mass. That will be big mass. Again, I'm coming to the same term, that is biomass. So biomass is the mass of the living organisms in the water. Okay, that is in the hydrosphere, in the air or in the on the surface and under the surface. So that by 2050, the biomass will be of plastic will be mass will be of the plastic will be more than the mass of the our aquatic, that is the aquatic culture, I should say, that is the life organisms inside the oceans. If it is so, means what we are doing, we are killing our nature in two ways. So it is a dual killing. That is, on one side, we are decreasing the fish, that is density. Density means fish mass or biomass per unit volume, and we are increasing plastic density. That is the plastic density, plastic material mass per unit volume, we are increasing. It means we are trying to kill through the plastic, and we are having killing directly the fishes also. That is what we call as a fishing and overfishing, not only to the fishes but the other things. Now, this is the story of not only the oceans, but if you see that the same story is with the rivers also. I'm always shocked. I'm always shocked when we people talk about the sacred river Ganga. हमारी तो बहुत पवित्र नदी है, भगवान का नाम है उसमें, all those kinds of things. And when it starts, I have seen the place, when it starts from the Himalaya near Gangotri, it's a pure blue, very fine, fresh water. But same when it comes down to the urban areas, say in Haridwar and even the Banaras, Kanpur, etc., then what we are doing, friends, we are doing lots of cruelty with our Ganga. You can see the name of the various kinds of worship activities like we are throwing carbon dioxide, we are throwing the many kinds of other pollutants inside candles, plastic candles, and in the name of the worshipping or the increasing the long life of the husband, you know that we are throwing this plastic candles nowadays. Pehle mitti ka tha, now with the plastic, all this, and even the green. And I don't know with all these things, how many husbands are still alive. If this song is true, and if the worship is true, then husband should have never been died. Whole earth should have been actually dominated by the husbands only. You can see the other face of the Ganga. And this is not the story in India. As many of you might be aware that I have visited more than 100 countries on this earth. And by and large, this is the story of the various rivers and various places of the oceans also. You can see in this picture that the people have thrown the large millions of tons actually, the waste around the whole, I mean the shore of the Ganga river, and people even at many places use for their other uses, potty, etc. And so where is the sacred river? Where it remains now sacred river? We should give a thought on this. Now all these materials go into the Ganga. Recently when I was in Banaras, then why many fishes or the organisms inside the water, they are dying. Actually, basically it is because of this plastic death. So we should be very careful about all these things. So friends, this is a very serious issue, and what we should do is a very some kind of a thought for the plastic. I told you that plastic has a life of 200 to 500 years, depending on its manufacturing density. Just basically, it is manufactured for what application, what use, etc. Then another very important thing, that whatever the discarded plastic bags or the six-pack bags or rings, etc., whatever you throw, but please remember that it is not only the fishes, it is not only the fishes are being killed, but there are many aquatic other lives which also play very positive role for the hydrosphere, and they are threatened, even the including the other wildlife also, because the way they come to drink the water around the river, etc., and they do not know what is inside, and finally they are throwing whatever we have thrown. That is very risky for the many kinds of lives, even the small microorganisms, including the shells or the big animals, turtles or dolphins, etc. So various kinds of recent big studies have been done that we should not do, we should avoid the plastics around the oceans, etc. I would like to have your kind attention. Now the time is left very little. I will finish in next 5-10 minutes. But direct violence, I told the word fishing and overfishing. So what basically fishing is directly in the net, they are killing, trapping the fishes. But overfishing, they are trying to remove from one place, total empty they want to make and take to the other place and doing in private way some kind of overfishing. So this is the some kind of a removal of the fish area or the fish zone is a big violence. Big violence. It's a, because now never the fishes will be evolved over there because the system they have is spoiled over there. And this fishing and overfishing, as well as the aquaculture, that it is keep on growing. And you can see in this plot, in last 60 years, the data is only from 1960 onwards only. And you can see that the red is, I mean, this what we call is a, I mean, what it is written. Okay, the natural way, the way they are doing, and then the other way is the aquaculture, and the aquaculture is keep on increasing and taking over there. So finally, if you add total, then you just see it is an exponential growth, exponential growth. I mean, people, I don't know what they want. They want to kill almost all aqua animals, and they are not eating. I honestly tell you, I have seen even Japan and in China in the name of the seafoods. This is seafoods, mostly small animals, small creatures inside the oceans, and they try to eat. So most of the this kind of violence is being done by China and other countries. So the whatever this violence is there, this is the, I mean, disturbing the balance between the land area and the aquatic area. That is, so hydrosphere, that is whatever we call and whatever I told, and land area, whatever it is there. So 71% and 29%. Now it is keep on changing because of our own activity. We are doing harmful activities, and that's why I just show another slide where this mostly on the whole globe, on our earth, which country is playing the more significant this violent area. You can see that the in Asia, mostly in Japan or in the our North East Asia, and even including our India also. You can see all the blue colors. They are the basically interested to kill the our aquatic life. In fact, when I was young, I was thinking that these African countries, they are more violent, and because they are living close to the ocean, so they may be actually killing more. But it is not like that. In fact, other countries are doing North America, South America, and even this our China. So if you see the individual countries plot, I'm not, because of time does not permit me, then you will see that the China is playing the most, I mean the cruel, I should say cruel role to kill the life in the oceans and other water systems. So another thing is acidification. You see that through the plastic. Plastic is, as I told earlier also, it is a hydrocarbon product. It is a product of carbon plus hydrogen. And when this photosynthesis, that the light and heat falls on that, then something changes, and the carbon dioxide by various other systems which we are doing, the industrial and electricity generation, etc. All that carbon dioxide goes into via the river channels or via directly to the oceans or reservoirs. That carbon dioxide dissolved, and it is inside the now ocean. Then it mixes with the H2O water, and finally it gives the product of the hydrocarbon acid, that is H2CO3 that is carbolic acid. That then a similar molecular form of the acid. Acid means, I should tell to you that hydrogen is necessary to be in that, and the pH value is below 7. So pH value is some kind of a scale. If pH is more than 7 to 14, then it means it is alkaline, that is salinity. That is salinity means it is a ksar or alkaline kind of. If it is below 7, means it is acidic in nature, more hydrogen content is there, or the chloride is there inside. So this now acidification itself is a direct killing process for the microbes as well as the animals inside. So they drink our acid water inside even when we cannot do drink anything. So it is basically killing direct process. Then what is happening because of the many other ways, the our oceans are the oil spill, you know that we are using for transportation, whether it is petrol or it is the gas or it is diesel or other our commercial products, many kinds of oils are being thrown over there. And many times in the ships, leakage is there. So whenever this oil spill is in the oceans, then the large number of fishes, billions of fishes or even trillions of fishes are being killed. That is, the fishes are killed. And that is what we generally talk. But what will happen to those creatures which we don't know even their names, and even what will happen to the microbe? You will notice that now, in order to remove their oil from the surface, many kinds of chemicals, materials are being taken into the plastic bags and other. And then after the use, they leave the plastic bags over there. And as a result, not only the ocean creatures are being killed, but the land near surface to the oceans and rivers, they are also being killed. And so that is what we now call as a marine debris. So this in the river also, nowadays we have started to build dams. And as a result of dam, okay, we have now reserved water because the dam is there. So a lot of water will be there for the, irrigation as well as for drinking, etc. But we never noticed what are the demerits of the these dams. We already have witnessed in Uttarakhand in India and in Brazil also, the dams also have created lots of problems because as soon as the small magnitude earthquake comes, then these dams have cracks and immediately the water comes and kills thousands of people. So a lot of mortalities and casualties occur. On the other hand, the water flows from the dam. Now it is out of the way we have made the route, and you can see in the right side this river which was flowing in the Nepal. Now it is dried completely in last few tens of years. There is no water because we have changed the route, and the water actually understands its own channels, its own routes. And if we try to change this natural process, then the internal process goes out of the order and it doesn't work. So these are the real various kinds of reservoirs and rivers history which I have given in this. Almost you can say 15,000 years before present to the present time, that how much what has happened. So all you can see, and please note this impacts where has taken place. We started from the minimal effects when we were not doing anything because we were not learned. We were not learned people at that time, 15,000 years, or you can say the era of the Neolithic period. We were in the process of learning of the farming and the domestication of the animals, etc., but not much. So there were minimal effects, minimal impacts were there. But now, as soon as we have become literate, more and more we are doing the technology things, more and more interventions, we are facing more and more problems. I don't have much time to read all these various kinds of impacts, etc., as a function of time, but I sincerely request all of you to read these impacts and try to see that how much this technology and we human activities have damaged our own hydrosphere. Then there is one very important, thing which I would like to say about that is this biomass which we are doing. So two-third drop. Please remember this: two-third drop in large fish numbers. That is the number density. Large fish means whales, dolphins, etc. In last 100 years only. In last 100 years, we have killed more than two-thirds, that is 67%. And as a result, the inside trees, inside the oceans, they have lost their balance, and whatever has gone as a result of that is we have degraded the biomass. And because of that, so now what is happening recently, two important investigations, large number of investigations have taken place, but I'm referring here the two important papers which have been cited also a lot in the world, and they say that a century of fish biomass decline, that is, biomass is decreasing in the ocean. This is a very serious issue, and according to them, if the biomass is decreasing, please listen, if biomass is decreasing, means it is some kind of an alarm. It is some kind of a warning to the human society, to us, that we also be going to be in danger, and the nature will take some kind of revenge, or some big issue is about to come. Second paper is also similar kind of a thing. They say that the future ocean biomass loses may just a minute. Our whole socio-economic this equity gaps will be there. And according to this paper, not only scientific part, they say this paper is analyzed also with the good data, and I have a very good respect to them, and they are predicting that there will be big socio-economy problems are expected just by 2050 in next 30 years or so, or 40 years time. So this really effects are there. So what is that? What I want to say, that this biomass, because biomass is a density, number density of the total creatures inside the oceans. If that is reducing, it means what will happen now? There will be enough space for the walls of the oceans, and there will be erosion. Automatically, the the mass from the land, it will drop it out. That is known as the erosion. Jameen ka ksharan, it will take place. And you can see in the various kinds of oceans I have shown, the various kind of structures of erosion which have taken place. And this erosion is always going to be a big problem. This is what we did also an experiment. My student Krunal Patel, I showed earlier also that we have studied the oceans in Gujarat, almost this Cambe, Khambat ki Khadi, that is Bay of Cambe, the oceans in Kutch, oceans in Valsad area, all everywhere. And we found, you can see this is the habitation village is there. And this was the ocean boundary was there in 1978. And as on today, 2018, it has come all the way to here. So it is coming close to the habitation. And I hope in next, if it government does not take care of making the protection wall or something, the maybe in next 20 years it will be submerged in the ocean itself. So in the next also in Kutch, you can see the borders have come. So much erosion took place that the habitation, most of the islands, the habited islands, they are already drowned, submerged in the ocean. And this is about to in next 2-3 years it will. And this is also another big town over there, and there is a risk of that. So lots of everywhere problems of erosion are there. And in this way, I don't know whether you can see this video or not, but what I will present the video in other form. Let me try, if you can. Can you hear this video? Are you able to hear? Are you able to see? Hello?
No, there is nothing which is visible from the video side, and no sound even.
This is a video you want to watch. I met Will at the World Economic Forum.
No, are you able to see the video or not?
No, video is not visible.
Okay.
It's a simple black, nothing else.
Okay. So it means let me show it out. Okay, let me go back to my presentation only. Can you see my PowerPoint? Is
No,
it okay?
no, it is
No?
not visible. No, yeah, it is not visible.
It is not visible.
There is black.
No, black is the part of that only. Let me share the screen again.
Hey, the guy you see all day.
Are you able to see
Yeah.
now?
Yes, yes, yes. Now it is visible. You can make it large a little bit.
Yeah, sound somehow, but this video is not very clear.
Davos. Will was a scientist.
Let me try again.
Hey, the guy you see here takes 4 million satellites. Image the entire.
Basically, this video, I tried my best since last 2-3 days to, but the image is taken of the Earth by 200 small satellites, and this video shows the various kind of structures have changed on the Earth.
So many pictures of space, but we don't have enough pictures of Earth. It's expensive to put a satellite in space. Take a picture of the problems on Earth.
Satellites typically cost about $1 billion per satellite.
So he did something crazy. He and his friends invented a satellite that is as big as a loaf of bread, and that is 1,000 times cheaper than a normal satellite. It looks like of trees, roads, houses, mountains, beaches, on the entire landmass of planet Earth, and 200 of these satellites. They discovered some very shocking stuff.
You should pay attention to this.
Now we can clearly see from space that the corals are dying. But the world has become, it changed from this to this, and this to this.
We have wiped out about 68% of the life on the planet.
The forests are changing. You can now finally see when someone is trying to this. When people talk about climate change, it's no longer just an opinion. It's now something you can see. It's also something we can fix.
I do feel sad about it, but I also feel hopeful that we have the tools and the tools in the right people's hands
can find damage before it's too late, because we have real-time data, all thanks to the hub of that will dust so we can save it.
Okay, can you hear me? Is it I am audible?
Yes, yes, yes.
I'm sorry, I have tried my best to make this video visible as well as audible. But okay, what briefly I will narrate that with this 200 small telescopes of very cheaper cost, but very big power of taking images of the Earth, and what they conclude that 68% of our Earth resources we have already damaged. 68% means 2/3. Okay, we have already damaged. Now this damage is in the various kinds of forms in the atmosphere. But on the land surface, we have actually dried many rivers. Many good farming land has converted now into the desert. I mean, various kinds of damages on the terrestrial surface as well as in the mountains. The glaciers melting has taken place, etc. So they want to say that people already claiming, scientists are having big claim about the climate change, but do they have? He is asking to the scientists, did you analyze this data that how much climate change has already given the damage? And now it is the high time, it is the very high time for everybody, not only for the scientists, but for every individual, every organization, every nation to be alert to save our planet. This is what basically they want to say in this whole video. And what I wish to say now, that this biomass, because it is decreasing, and it has been told that by the 2100, that is only 75 years or 77 years are left, but there will be a big change if we will continue with this kind of a degrading our biomass or losing biomass. Then the temperature on the earth will be keep on increasing from 1 degree centigrade to, even by the end of this century, to it may go to the 2 degree centigrade, etc. And the lot of, I mean, the animals which we will lose, and the most of the loose part, that is loss in the biomass, they say that there will be stronger impacts will be there at the higher trophics. So why it happens? Because the things actually volatile goes from the equator to the higher side in the higher altitude, but it affects is always on the higher latitude side, northern side and southern side. So all those countries, not only at near the equator, but the polar side also, the higher trophics, they all also should participate in this and take care. So in order to that, today I am very happy that I analyzed many research papers, and I wanted to tell to you this real important point, the physics of non-violence. I think many of you may laugh when you hear the physics of non-violence. What physics? But Bhagwan Mahavir, perhaps he already knew. He might have told in a very qualitative way, but he must have observed everything very nicely through his eyes and his samyak drashti. Everything could be visible. So what I conclude in this climate change is the one part which is an outcome of our own human activities. So natural climate change plus the human activities, that is violence, that is V, I call is violence as a V, and the CO2 emission. And these two things causing through us only the biomass degradation, that is reduction in the biomass. Biomass I am putting as a BM, that is reduction. So please use the reduction, okay? And which actually enhancing the erosion, because biomass is now lost. So erosion will be more and more. So what we can conclude, that the violence V is directly proportional to the erosion, or the inversely proportional to the biomass degradation, that is reduction. So biomass, we can also always say the biomass, when if it is reduced, means erosion will be more. So biomass is directly proportional to 1 upon erosion, that is inversely proportional. So finally, if I combine the equation number 1 and 2, so violence basically is directly proportional to erosion and the loss of the biomass. So please, this equation is very important, and hopefully this you always tell to the others also, that see the violence which we are doing, but it is really giving big impact. Currently, recently, I am reading few papers. The one which I told in my last lecture, if you remember, Traube Herring waves, the acoustic sound waves like that, infrasonic waves, and even less frequency, another waves which people call as a pain waves. So if you combine all these things, I think we can frame out a model which says the same thing. This violence actually not only erosion increase or the biomass reduction, but the total, we can say the disaster on the earth is very close if we will not stop the violence. So what I humbly request to all of you, and I too have been telling to all of you all the time with my folding hands, that you all are my ambassadors, and you all with my folding hands, again I request to all of you to give my message of this non-violence, okay, all, and spread it, this message, to all over the globe. And you had very good patience today to listen me. Thank you very much. और माता जी के चरणों में, महाराज साहब के चरणों में वंदामी, and thank you to all of you, and best wishes of holy colorful festival of our India. Thank you very much. If there are any questions.
Thank you very much, Professor Rajmalji Jain, for giving wonderful talk full of informations, data, research, and also warnings that if we do not become aware before the time, though time has already gone from our hands, instead of that, there is still something which can be done. So that is why these lecture series is going on. So I would request all the participants if they have any questions. And yes, so Professor Rajmalji Jain, could you please stop sharing?
I have already removed. Oh, shall I remove my this
yes,
PPT
yes.
also?
Yes.
Just a minute. Please give me a few seconds. Is it okay?
Yeah, it is okay. So now participants are requested, if they have any query, any question, any suggestion, or any input, you are always open to ask questions or share your own views or study if you have already done on this particular topic. Professor Rajmalji Jain is a scientist. Instead of that, he is telling about all the damages which are being done by the scientific researches or technology which we are using. Is there somebody has some question?
I think some questions are coming on the chatting or somewhere. Can you read? And
okay, so there is hardly one question in chat. How you calculate biomass in the ocean?
Oh yes, this is a per cubic meter. Okay, per cubic meter we take on the controlled data. Controlled, say any given day, because already every day some biomass reduction is going on, but let us consider on one given day how much it is there, and that is the reference for a 1 cubic meter inside. And then next every day how much impact as a human impacts plus natural impacts, how much it is keep on degrading, reducing is there. So we make some kind of a calculation for a month, then for 1 year, and then we take the statistics. You may be aware of the error bar, and within that error bar limit we estimate how much the biomass is reduced.
Okay, so there is a how can we get recordings of previous lectures? Okay, okay, Aridaman Jain has asked, so I will answer. We are providing these videos through our Google class, those who have enrolled or registered for this class especially, but we will share some links to you. Please give your WhatsApp number so that we can share these links of the lectures. Okay, Shobha, would you like to ask any question? Please unmute yourself. Okay, so I am unmuting all the people first. Let me unmute all the people. Now, Please.
Thank you very much, Samiji and Jai Jinendra. Sir, thank you very much for a lovely class. And
प्रोफेसर जैन, आपको मैं बधाई देता हूँ. आपका लास्ट लेक्चर भी मैंने सुना, उसमें आपने कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड की बात कही. अनफॉर्चुनेटली मैं कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड में काफी काम करता हूँ. हमारी ऑयल रिकवरी बहुत बढ़ जाती है, 7.5% ऑफ द ओरिजिनल ऑयल इन प्लेस. और आज आपने प्लास्टिक की बात कही. मेरा आपसे क्वेश्चन है कि सबसे बड़ा इश्यू भगवान महावीर के अहिंसा के प्रसंग में प्लास्टिक है या कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड?
नहीं, हाइड्रोकार्बन product also includes the carbon dioxide inside. Okay, every hydrocarbon product I mean. So carbon dioxide is not only one individual enemy, but the total, I will say that this plastic includes. So but every individual thing out of that hydrocarbon has a different kind of effects at different levels. Say it has a different effects in the atmosphere, it has a different effect in the hydrosphere, and it has a different effect on the terrestrial surface. So carbon dioxide is one kind of an enemy, but this plastic is a major enemy on the terrestrial surface and for the ocean lives.
और प्रोफेसर साहब, आपने जो मॉडर्न ट्रेंड हो रहा है ऑफशोर ऑयल एंड गैस ड्रिलिंग,
यस
तो आपके लेक्चर से बहुत अच्छी तरह जाहिर है कि ऑर्गेनिक मैटर काफी इन्फ्लुएंस कर रहे हैं इकोनॉमी को. लेकिन मेरा आपसे सवाल ये है कि ये यदि मान लीजिए 1 मिनट के लिए बैन कर दिया जाए, ऑफशोर ड्रिलिंग बैन कर दी जाए, तो इसका इफेक्ट इकोनॉमिकली बहुत ज्यादा होगा. तो इन सब चीजों के बारे में आपका क्या कमेंट है?
जी, मैं तो एक बात कहूंगा, क्या आज से 100 साल 150 साल पहले जब प्लास्टिक था ही नहीं, तो क्या लोग नहीं जीते थे? मर गए थे लोग, बल्कि ज्यादा हेल्दी थे. एनवायरनमेंट हमारा हेल्दी था. आपने देखा होगा, एक लिस्ट बताई थी, मैंने पूरी नहीं पढ़ी, नदियों की 15,000 साल से लेके अभी तक. उसमें सबसे ज्यादा केओस कहना चाहिए या डिसेस्टर जो है वो अभी हो रहा है. यानी टेक्नोलॉजी के आने के बाद और प्लास्टिक के आने के बाद डिसेस्टर ज्यादा हो रहा है. इवन आपने सुना ही होगा कि एनिमल्स हमारी धरती के ऊपर, गाय भैंसों के अंदर भी आजकल पोस्टमार्टम करके निकालो तो प्लास्टिक अंदर से निकल. तो ये तो बहुत सारा, ये नहीं कि प्लास्टिक कोई कमर्शियल एक्टिविटी ऐसी हो गई है जिसके आधार पे ही पूरी सारी सोशियो इकोनॉमी डिपेंडेंट है. ऐसा मैं नहीं मानता. पहले हमारे जूट के बैग होते थे तो वो भी तो यूज होते ही थे. मैं तो जब छोटा था मैंने तो प्लास्टिक देखा ही नहीं था, आज से करीब 60-65 साल पहले. 70 साल का हुआ हूं मैं अभी. लेकिन उस समय जूट के बैग आते थे और जूट के बैगों में ही गेहूं भी भर के आते थे, चावल भी उसमें आते थे और दूसरा अनाज भी उसमें ही आता.
थैंक्स सर.
मैं ये सर, मैं आपकी बात से यूं नहीं सहमत हो सकता कि प्लास्टिक की वजह से ही सारी इकोनॉमी उसी पे डिपेंडेंट है. बहुत सारी ऐसी और चीजें हैं जिनका यूज किया जा सकता है, उसका रिप्लेसमेंट किया जा सकता है. और मतलब जो है, अभी आपने नहीं देखा, मैंने आपको एक वीडियो बताया था जो हरिद्वार के वहां से जो दीपक भेजे जा रहे हैं, वो दीपक पहले मिट्टी के दीपक होते थे, पत्ते पे भी होते थे, लेकिन अभी प्लास्टिक के दीपक भेजे जा रहे हैं. वहां पर भी यानी कल्चर डिस्ट्रॉय हो गया है. तो ये कई सारी चीजें, प्लास्टिक इज नॉट द आवर इकोनॉमिक हार्ट लाइन. प्लास्टिक को तो बैन नहीं किया तो आप देखो कि और ओशियन के ऑर्गेनिजम्स को बहुत बड़ी चोट पहुंच रही है. हम डायरेक्टली नहीं देख पा रहे, लेकिन दिस इज ए वार्निंग, दिस इज ए सीरियस वार्निंग टू द ऑल ह्यूमैनिटी. एक बहुत बड़ी वार्निंग है.
थैंक यू सर, अप्रिशिएट.
शोभा जी पूछ रही थी. शोभा जी.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
So you said in the earlier slide that it was only hydrogen and helium which were covering the atmosphere, yet the Earth was very hot. I thought helium being an inert gas, it wouldn't be inflammable or contribute to the heat of the Earth's surface, isn't it?
Okay. You have finished your question?
I
Hello?
have another very, I
No,
don't know whether
this
it's...
question. No, first I will address this question. You see, the hydrogen was the real mother matter in the whole universe. Okay? It is the main element. The whole universe is made of the hydrogen. First thing, please. And then, so when this Earth also, that is first, I should say, solar system was formed. Out of that, this Earth was formed. So hydrogen was only there. Helium came only from the sun only to the Earth. It was not original. Originally, it was hydrogen. Helium was a little fraction only. But when this cooling starts always, and the cooling means the inside there was a hot. So it inside hot means the central part of the whole this body was very, very hot. That is what we say center of the Earth. Up to few hundreds of kilometers, still it is hot. It is very, very hot inside the core of the Earth. So the surface, top surface, when the hydrogen started to become cooled down, at that time, cooling from the top, please see now, from the top, but inside it is hot. So this temperature difference became larger. And that is what we call as a temperature gradient or thermal gradient. Whenever thermal gradients grow up or build up, then the always volcano erupts. This is the
Yes.
principle. Okay.
Thank you, sir. But I have another question.
Yes.
We are talking about, restraining ourselves and not for the sake of development, not indulge in technology and things like that. But then when Bhagwan Rishabhnath, when he taught Asimasi Krishi, he must have foreseen that this is likely to develop into all. I mean, after all, he was the Lord of, he knew the three time, past, future, and present, as well as all the worlds. He must have known all of it, the consequences, but yet he taught us Asimasi Krishi, no? So he must have balanced it.
Shobhaji, I understood your question. Okay, I understood. Thank you for this. This is a very important question. I really appreciate this question. And see, Bhagwan Rishabdev, the last part of the third eon, Tisra Ara, third eon, last part, and the beginning of the fourth eon. Okay, that was the span of his lifetime. And he not only gave this Asi, Masi, and Krishi, three technologies. Okay, he gave 6 very important, that is 3 another technologies, including the our language, etc. But he taught 72 technologies to the men and 64 technologies to the woman also. And if you take the list from Bhadrabahu Swami, that Granth, okay, then you will find all the names of the 72 technologies which he taught. So when he taught all those technologies at that time, yes, definitely he was very much aware. That is what I read in that literature. What is its name? Name of the book?
Bhadrabahu Samhita. Bhadrabahu Samhita.
No. Bhadrabahu Samhita is related to the astronomy.
Okay.
This is the name starts with Ka. I have been using. Okay. So in that it is mentioned all those technologies, and he was very much aware that by the time birth of Mahavir takes place, and later on in the Pancham Kal, all these technologies will be converted which I should use the word of misuse of the technologies or in some other ways, and then the nature will be destroyed or something. He was, I mean, Tirthankar, he was very much aware with his Samyak Drashti that what is going to happen. But at that time, as critical, the people were in need of technology. Otherwise, the period already had finished of that Sukma and all that. I mean, getting the fruits from the Kalpvraksha, etc. So all that time was over. I showed today, and I had told earlier also in my few lectures, that Neolithic time, when this agriculture started, the agriculture came from where? From where? 15,000 वर्ष साल पहले से ही आया, 15,000 years back? No. I told in one of my first lecture when I was telling about the our cosmology things, that when the period of Bhagwan Rishabdev birth was there, thus Bhav and all that, Mahabal to all this, as a function of time and as a function of the eon, Kal Chakra. So that was the time when the already science and scientific history says that almost if more than 100,000 or 200,000 years, already seeds were keep on coming. That seeds were there. So agriculture already had developed. So period of agriculture was somewhere there. We should landmark over there. We are marking over there. So he had already vision that after this Mahavir, things will be different because of the same technology. I give you one example, very simple one example only. I cannot give lots of example, but one example. You know the photoelectric effect? Do you know photoelectric effect based
Yes.
on which the Einstein got the Nobel Prize?
Yes.
This photoelectric effect, this technology was developed and given by the Rishabdev. By Rishabdev at that time, 200,000, 150,000, whatever time you take, 1,000 years before present, and it has been written very clearly in our canonical texts. Okay, so the technology was given, it was very well used for various things, but now the same technology is being misused. Okay, that is what misuse means. We will discuss sometimes next. Any next question by any other person? Otherwise,
Thank you. Thank you.
I think somebody is raising hand. किसी
Yeah.
का हाथ खड़ा है?
Yeah.
You just mentioned about our first Tirthankar Adinath. Did you say 150,000 years ago, or how long ago?
What I have estimated, sir, I may be wrong, but I have estimated based on various scientific evidences and as well as the birth of first his icon out of that 10 icons, Mahabal, and the civilization started on the earth, human being developed with the talent, etc. So we have estimated about 140,000 or 150,000 years before present. Because I have seen other evidences of his footprints in the South America and in the Africa also, where he visited. He visited all the 6 continents. And
So
I have visited myself many countries and explored the evidences. Yes, sir.
So how did he travel?
He traveled by walk.
Whole huge world he could travel.
Yes, because he lived for a long time. If you know that, yes, he lived on the earth and traveled for 1 lakh year or something like that. That is what I mean. I'm reducing that period. It is written in Hemchandracharya का जो text है. It is written very well written and it is documented over there.
Trishashti Shalaka Purush.
Yeah. If you want to know the next time for a minute,
yes.
I can show that slide and that verse shlok sutra where it is written that how many years he traveled on this earth. That is Hemchandracharya. Okay, I remember Kalpasutra, okay, of Bhadrabahu Swami for technologies. Kalpasutra, where he wrote also about the Mahavir also and many other.
Yeah. How come all these Tirthankars were born in India, which is a small part of the world?
Who told you, sir, that all Tirthankars born only in India, the present India? Who told you? Where it is written?
No, but all the Tirthankars that we talk about, 24, their birthplaces are all in India.
Not birthplace, it is written in like that. I have a list. I think sometimes I may have to give talk, but it will be out of the way of this lecture series. But long back, I have given 3-4 lectures on the Rishabdev. When I was doing research, I was involved in the Ashtapad research thing. And I have a how many Tirthankars came from the east, how many came from the west, from north and south, but not exactly north, south, east, west. Is a reference point is only the India. From that point, that east means from the eastern part of the world, western part of the world, northern part of the world, southern part of the world. Few Tirthankars, of course, few Tirthankars born in India, but not all. Not all.
Oh, wow.
Thank you. Yeah, I look forward to the recordings of previous
Okay,
lectures.
yes, we will share. Now, Dr. Neeta, she will ask.
वंदामी स्वामी, आपकी लेक्चर बहुत ही अच्छी थी, पर आई वांट टू ऐड वन थिंग मोर इनटू द प्लास्टिक. While we don't eat in the plastic as well, because बहुत सारी रिसर्च चल रही है कि प्लास्टिक के डब्बे में डालकर खाना मत खाओ और उसको स्टोर भी प्लास्टिक में मत करो, because फूड भी लीच करता है प्लास्टिक को. So I wanted to add that because plastic is very dangerous.
आपने बिल्कुल सही कहा. यही प्रश्न अभी ये जो इन्होंने कहा था ना, वो कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड पे काम कर रहे हैं. मैंने उनका नाम नहीं सुना. उन्होंने क्या, आपका नाम?
विजय
विजय जी ने जो कहा बेसिकली वही चीज है. और मैंने आपको जो जवाब दिया कि बेसिकली हाइड्रोकार्बन के प्रोडक्ट जो होते हैं वो हमारे लिए बहुत डेंजरस है, बिकॉज दे अफेक्ट डायरेक्टली आवर सेल्स. हमारे बॉडी का सबसे छोटा हिस्सा है वो सेल्स है. दैट इज द स्मॉलेस्ट, you can say microbes in our body, but that we should not damage. Once cells are damaged, then all kinds of diseases start. All kinds of our organs are also damaged.
So we are requesting everybody to not store any food into
आपको अभी ऑयल कंपनी कार्बन को रेस्ट्रिक्ट करने की चेष्टा कर रही है, तो उसी आपने बताया उसी डायरेक्शन में प्रयास है. लेकिन मैंने जैसे आपको बताया कि कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड, जैसे लास्ट लेक्चर में आपने बताया कि 1960 से कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड मेनली उसके यूज से हम लोगों के ऊपर काफी हार्मफुल इफेक्ट हुए हैं. तब मैंने आपको बहुत नम्रता पूर्वक कह रहा हूं कि उसी समय से जैसे एरोप्लेन और ऑयल फील्ड रिकवरीज इम्प्रूवमेंट, हम लोग शुरू में बहुत कम प्रोड्यूस कर पाते थे, लेकिन धीरे धीरे 4 गुना 5 गुना प्रोडक्शन हो गया है. तो उसका कुछ यूजफुल इफेक्ट भी है, लेकिन आपका कहना वो बहुत ही विचारपूर्ण है. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.
सर, मैंने एक लास्ट टाइम आप शायद लेक्चर में थे तो मैंने बताया भी था. क्योंकि आप हिंदी में पूछ रहे हैं तो मैं हिंदी में ही बताना चाहूंगा. मैंने एक प्लॉट भी बताया था. जब हम लोग स्टडी कर रहे थे गुजरात के ओशियंस की, तो हमारे सामने एक बड़ा सरप्राइजिंग रिजल्ट आया कि कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड जिस तरह से बढ़ रही है तो सी सरफेस टेम्परेचर बढ़ रहा है. सी सरफेस टेम्परेचर बढ़ रहा है और सी सरफेस टेम्परेचर बढ़ने से सी का जो वॉल है वो रिड्यूस हो रहा है और सी का जो मेन लेवल है वो बढ़ रहा है. उसकी वजह से न केवल सी के क्रेचर्स बल्कि एटमॉस्फेयर के क्रेचर्स भी मर रहे हैं. दैट इज द डेंजरस पार्ट एंड दिस वी हैव कम्युनिकेटेड to the government of Gujarat, to the United Nations also, and they themselves have, recommended and they agreed कि डॉक्टर जैन आपने बहुत सही बात कही है, हमको भी पता है, लेकिन कोई, मुझे क्या कहना चाहिए, आई डोंट नो, कोई देश माने तब है ना.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपके comment के लिए.
So thank you, Professor Rajmal
Thank you.
Ji, for
जी.
replying, for answering to all the questions, which are very important to think of or to rethink about our productions, and also the demand of customers. So and the demand of customers can be restricted by self-restraint only, not by the legal rules or any advices from any scientist or any other. So that we have to learn from Jainism, that how we can restrict ourselves or how we can develop self-restraint in ourselves. And if that will be done, then there will not be such kind of productions, and that eventually there would not be such kind of damages to the atmosphere, hydrosphere, or atmosphere, or lithosphere, or any kind of sphere.
No, I
So,
have only
Professor,
one.
yes.
I want to, Kshama karen, I
Yes.
want to say only one thing. Only one thing.
Yes.
When the nature, and I told as a witness today, hydrosphere, when they say they obey the law of nature, self-organized criticality and self-regulated system as per the whatever it has been mentioned in Jainism, right?
Correct. Yes.
Then why? And we are the byproduct of this nature. Human beings are what? We are simple organism, okay? And we don't want to obey the laws of nature. This is the big message which I want to convey. Please stop violence and obey the laws of nature. Thank you very much. आप माता जी आपके महाराज साहब के चरणों में वंदामी बहुत बहुत. और आप सभी
now Professor Rajmal Ji Jain has to work out some rules and regulations and new types of anuvrat for the householders, okay, to stop such kind of violences which are being done because of the excess use of the plastics and technology.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
We will organize one discussion session at the end of this lecture series and come out with this. So thank you very much to all of you for your kind questions. And
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Vandam.
Thank you. Yes.
Vandami, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
very
Prof.
much.
Jai Jinendra.
Jai.
Jai Jinendra.
Thank you. It was interesting discussion. Okay, so just I'm noting down some screenshot. So everybody can leave. Just I'm noting down all those numbers and addresses.
मैंने तो नहीं लिखा है.
No, somebody has written. So then I have to note down to share the, what we say, these lectures.
Is this part of a course?
Yeah, this is a course which we are actually offering as community programs, outreach programs through Florida International University. And those who have applied for this course, they are registered and they are having all the access to all the materials, all the lecture videos and other materials which are being provided by the professor.
So it is a credit course?
No, it is not. It is non-credit and it is a free open course.
Is it too late to enter?
No. I can send you the link. You can join the lectures and you can also be in the classroom.
Yeah, and you are located in Miami.
Yes,
as
I
I
am in
remember.
Miami. Yeah, it is true.
I had a friend who was a professor there many years ago.
Yes. Okay. I am.
Thank you for
I'm working
offering.
with all these scientists from last 10 years, so they are all in my contact. And whenever I invite, they come without any remuneration. They are always ready to deliver some talks.
This is unique. Nothing like it.
Thank you.
before.
Yes.
Thank you, Samaniji, for that.
Yes, because from last 10 years, I have been focused on scientific studies of Jain principles and practices. And most of the doctors and scientists who are Jains and have background of Jainism and also science, they are working with me.
So besides this, do you offer other courses?
Yes, I have offered this time 3 courses for community, and all the courses are open courses. And this is the one which you have already attended. And the other one is religious classics of Jainism. So I'm talking on Pragyapana Sutra especially. And in the third course, which will be offered in May 6, and that is genetic science and karma. Genetic science and karma. So that is very, very important topic, or you can say course. And almost 100 people have signed for that course from community.
So will you be able to send information on those as well?
Yes, I will send it.
And is there any connection between your organization and the one in Orlando, Florida?
Yes, in Orlando we have JVB Center. In New Jersey we have JVB Center. There is one center which is in Houston, JVB Houston Center. And this is the Miami Jain Education and Research Foundation, and also JVB. So you can see, and
So is this also JVB in Florida, in Miami?
Yes, JVB Miami is going to establish very soon.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so now I'm noting down something, some email address of some participant who is asking for these recordings. Okay. If somebody needs link of the lectures, I am sharing through chat, so they can note down. Otherwise, I can send through email. Okay. Okay, thank you. So I will send through email those who have shared their number and the email ID. So I will share through their number and email ID. So thank you. I'm leaving.